So by the time you see this video, Concord would have been dead for quite a bit now. And I just want to talk about how funny it is that Sony's live service game failed so horribly they had to shut it down on September 6th, like 2 weeks exactly from when it first came out. So yeah, I just want to talk about how funny that is and also why I feel like this is a good thing personally. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Now, if you don't know what Concord is, hopefully I'm going to be saying that name correctly. It's kind of a hard name to say. But anyway, if you don't know what it is, it's basically, or it was basically, one of Sony's first party live service games. And when they first revealed this, it was like 3 months ago. Technically, we knew of the game from what I hear. Like, we knew it existed and the developers or whatever, but we first saw it like 3 months ago in a state of play, which is actually the footage you're seeing right now of Concord, because it's funny. I was thinking at first, before I made this video, I was thinking, do I even have footage of Concord like around? I mean, I never played the game, you know, and did I even react to anything that it was in? Yes, I did. So there you go. There's the footage. The only footage left. And yeah, Concord, again, I hope I'm saying that name correctly. I might mispronounce it later, just fair warning. But yeah, it did not look promising at all. It just looked like a typical Overwatch ripoff, you know, except for the fact that it was $40 and it also ripped off the character designs of Guardians of the Galaxy. Those were the two things that Concord had going for it, and they were not good. You know, $40, you know, when other live service games are free to play or cheaper, and also just didn't look original at all, you know, especially with the characters. Yeah, there was like a lot going on with this game about how lots of people didn't like how it looked, they didn't care about it, and when the game came out, yeah, it didn't do the best in terms of reviews. It did fine, I guess. Like, I think 7 out of 10 was the best reviews it got. But the sales were not doing good. I mean, there was like news back and forth about how there were like 600 people playing concurrently on like Steam, for example. And it was estimated that it only sold like 25,000 copies, like total. Like, you know, probably both on Steam and PlayStation, at the very least on Steam, but maybe even less than that. Which is, it was just kind of funny for a number of reasons. It's not funny in terms of the developers that worked on this game, you know. I do feel bad for them. Firewalk Studio, I believe that's what their name is. I'm not laughing at them. Decision to make the game was not their decision. It was made by executives. So I hope the executives learn a lesson, you know, about live service games. Though probably they won't, you know, and I will talk more about that later. But yeah, again, no shade towards the developers, but their talents could have been used to make something way better. I mean, the game was competent from what I saw. Concord was a competent game. It wasn't buggy. It wasn't like mechanically bad. It was just overdue and oversaturated and pricey. Like, there was just different things that were caused not because of the developers, and that kind of caused its downfall to be not so that great. And then eventually, within 2 weeks, which is crazy, they announced that they are going to be shutting down the game, stopping the sales, you know, refunding everyone that bought the game. Even physically, you have to contact your store that you bought the game from, but you will get a refund. And yeah, it was a whole disaster. And I'm glad that Concord failed, you know. I'm glad it failed because I really don't like live service games. And if you're going to do a live service game, at least make it free to play. I don't know why they didn't make it free to play, but again, I just don't like them in general because, like, look, there's so many live service games out there, and so many executives want to, you know, a taste of that Fortnite pie, you know, a game that can bring them endless money, you know, to support other things, you know. But here's the problem. One, live service games, they take up a lot of time, and you know, most people only have time to devote to like one or maybe two live service games, and there's a finite number of people that would even play your game. That's why the best chance is to have it free to play, but even then there will still be a finite number of people. So it's just a whole lot of luck on what live service games stick around, you know. And I mean, Sony technically they succeeded with one. I think it's technically a live service game. It's at least a game that they didn't expect to do well, which was Helldivers 2. That game is like $40 as well, or 50, I don't know. But it's like, it has multiplayer, but here's the thing. That game is different than like a typical like live service game. I don't even know if it technically counts as live service. I mean, it has updates, you know, there's stuff like that, but it's like it's a different type of thing. It's not like a battle royale type thing. It's not a 5v5. I don't know. It's a different kind of game, which is kind of what helped it succeed. Which Sony didn't expect it to succeed. While with Concord, you know, that game was just overplayed to death by the time it came out, and yeah, so it just kind of depends, you know. I think the key to have your game succeed is, one, make it free to play. That's like the best thing. But two is also just to have a unique twist, a unique idea, which Concord did not, and I'm glad for that, you know. I'm glad that it failed so that they could show the executives that we don't want this. We want stuff like Helldivers 2, or even the game that came out the same day Concord died, being Astrobot. So the executives that fund these games, tell them that we want stuff like Astrobot, you know, not Concord. And Astrobot, I hear, has been having great reviews, like 94 on Metacritic or something. And I'm really happy for Team Asobi. I wish I could afford the game. I'm just broke as heck. But I love Astro's Playroom, and Astrobot is basically an expanded upon version of Astro's Playroom. So I would love to get it at some point, that game. But from what I hear, it's a good time, and it's definitely it's funny that it came out the same day Concord died. The single player, you know, game outlives the supposed to be online game you could play forever. That's just so funny to me. I mean, Sony has been making a big push towards live service stuff, and Concord failing is probably not going to change plans that much, if at all, in terms of their other live service games, which is kind of sad. But maybe if more, I feel like Concord might be a waking up period for their other live service games, where they can realize that if they're just the same thing as Concord, where they're in an oversaturated market, I feel like more gamers will, you know, take a stand against that and cause those games to fail. And so Sony, that we don't want live service games in general, I feel. But if you're gonna do a live service thing, at least make it unique and make it different, and also free to play, because making it not free to play, what the heck were you doing? Like, oh my god, so stupid, Sony. Like, I can't even imagine how much money they lost, Sony, to make Concord. I saw some numbers thrown around that was like 800 million or whatever. It took 8 years of development. I feel like it's closer that it took like 100 million to make the game, and the 8 years of development, it could have been like they were like thinking about concepts for like a few years, and then like the last like 4 or 5 years they went full steam ahead on development. But either way, I mean, 8 years, even if you were just contemplating some stuff, like some concepts, and even if it was like 100 million, that's still a lot of money to fund for a game that got shut down in 2 weeks and people did not care about it at all. So yeah, I'm hoping that this is at least a nudge towards the right direction with Sony, a wake-up call, if you will. But I feel like we won't see the effects until another 1 or even 2 live service games fail from Sony. And I think Sony likes those odds, because, I mean, like, lots of these companies are chasing live service stuff, because if one succeeds, I mean, you get, like, infinite money for, like, a long time. And, you know, they can afford to, like, throw away, like, a lot of resources to make games, and if they fail, who cares? Just rob the developers that made the games and keep all the money. And if a game succeeds, then yay, you get more money for yourselves, and the developers keep their jobs sometimes. But it's a cruel industry. I don't know, I just feel like Sony needs more failures for their live service stuff in order to get this point across. But maybe I'm just talking out of my butt. I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling at this point. I don't know if I'm making sense. I hope I am. But yeah, those are just my thoughts on Concord, the live service stuff that Sony is doing, and how it's so funny. Again, I still can't believe. I knew Concord wasn't going to do well. I knew it wasn't going to last long. But I did not think it would get shut down. I thought what they were going to do is make it free to play, or add it for like PS Plus to add more players. But no, they just shut it down fully, which is not something I expected, which is very funny. But yeah, let me know what you think about Concord. Do you think it deserved to fail? Did you actually like the game, or what? But I'll see you guys later for some more stuff in the near future. More discussing videos that are topical, quicker, along with vocal covers, all that stuff. But yeah, like, subscribe, play some Xenoblade, and I'll catch you guys next time for more. Peace. Bye, everyone.